people were talking about this podcast in the Discord. I can't remember it. It's like men unpacking patriarchy. It's like the whole podcast.
Yeah.
And then you see on TikTok, there's a lot of like big TikTokers where they're doing it, but it always just ends up feeling like just like, don't disrespect women. You know, it's like this,
Hey, knock it off.
Yeah, knock it off. You knock it off. It's not
I'll
like
come over there.
Hey, beat it, buddy.
like
Scram.
Cut that out.
I highly
This
recommend.
guy bothering you?
Giving you trouble.
Knock it off.
Toots. And then still missing the
Cut
mark.
it out.
Yeah,
Is this guy giving you trouble?
there's this documentary, the Feminists on Cell Block Y, that I highly recommend. Everybody, regardless of gender or sex, like watch, because it's about this group of men in prison that have a feminist like study, like reading group.
Oh, I did see something about that.
And it's so powerful for me as a man. The reason why it was so powerful to me was because it's not even explicit. It's just like, it's just reflected in the recorded dialogue and discourse that they're having. It is about how patriarchy fucking hurts men.
Right.
And it's like men that they've thrown their whole lives away. All they have to do now, some of them, is sit in this reading group and unpack how the fuck they got in there. And you have men talking about the shit that they put their sons through and that they did to their sons. And they're connecting it to patriarchy. And they're just like, there's some people that aren't going to be, who are in this group, that they're not going to be in prison forever or for as long. And they're like just pleading to them. They're just like, please just listen. Like, it's not this fucking moralistic shit. It's literally like, this shit hurts everybody, you know? Truly. That's like the bell hooks shit. Like, feminism is for everybody. That's why I feel like the solution is going to be in that somehow. Like, people coming to understand it as like a system. You know, just like remove, like, sure, like a lot of individuals are complicit in it, but it's like, put that to the side for 1 second and think about the structures that are at play, and like how it's not even just like, it's not just patriarchy, it's patriarchy interacting with capitalism and with all these other systems. And like, at the cultural level, I'm just saying, I'm like, that there, I feel like there's an opening there, but I don't. I'm curious what your thoughts are, like, just or if you think about it, or if you're just jaded, like you're just like, oh no, this is just how it is, and
no, it shouldn't be like that. And I
would get that though too. I feel like
I truly don't know. I don't know. Honestly, it feels like more hopeless, but not trying to get in that mindset and trying to like feel like, oh, there's no, like, no, men are just, because like I don't want to believe like there can't be some change, there can't be some shift, like it's just, I don't know, the effects of all the things that have led to these men speaking like this and feeling like their masculinity is under attack and all this shit. I feel like there has been just like too much. There needs to be like a counter thing, like, you know, something that like allows people to get it in a way that doesn't feel like, I don't know. I feel like they just have to remove themselves so much from like.
I feel like maybe we just got to get to a point where the discourse isn't so combative. Yeah. Because I feel like there was, not that patriarchy didn't exist in this period, but there was a point where like before all this like psychotic shit we're in now, there was like some like a friendly back and forth, like battle of the sexes. Like it was like people did it like it was cute or whatever, and now it's all just so angry, like and like a big part of that, like and like that whole breakdown I was talking about, he gets into part of it, which is like you've got reactionary elements coming on both, coming from every side, where like there was a contingency of black women at one point that was like, it was a very small contingency to be, but that were kind of like applauding like black men getting assaulted and killed by police. It was like, because they've been treated so badly by black men that now we're on this entire like insane end of the spectrum. But it's also like, you understand where it's coming from. Just like, not the conclusion, but just the the fact that there is an extreme response to that, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I feel like we're at a point where like the roots of all this shit is so clear to a degree, but it's like, how do you get to the bottom of it and like unpack it to where everybody can see it, you know?
And
it's
people
like,
aren't like dismissive of it, like as a, I don't know, like how do you not see this shit?
Can I verbalize something?
Down
can I? And this is similar to me. I read revolutionary feminist literature, but I also have, just like when I was talking about, just like I read literature on racism and white supremacy and all these things, but just like with the getting inside the mind of like a white person and like the psyche and like and how it is, but this is different because I'm a man. So I can draw on my own thinking processes and my own conditioning, and I can analyze my own behavior and even the instincts within myself that arise. Like when someone says something to me or I see something, I can analyze the sensation and pause and go, why do you feel that way? Why is that coming up? And on that point, I feel like, and I've talked about this for years privately with guy friends, but there's this unspoken thing where straight men, like cisgender heterosexual men, they're not bad guys or something, right? They think because they're not bad guys, because they're not rapists, because they don't touch women inappropriately, because most of them do call women bitches when women aren't in the room, in my personal opinion, but I guess it depends on what community or space that you're in. But they think because they don't do that they can kind of like that's good enough, basically.
Right.
Like that's good enough. I would never violate a woman. I would never touch a woman. And so when these like what are really structural systemic critiques get raised, granted, there's liberal and neoliberal discourse that muddies these conversations in the water. Because if you're saying like, you're just saying, oh, men and we all do it at a certain, just like we say white people or whatever, because it's just like, well, that's just how it feels. But like anyone who's like serious and like has a rational mind and like critical mind about anything when it comes to patriarchy and like systems of domination that like disproportionately oppress women, like you can look at that and kind of just separate that from yourself as an individual, like as a person. You can go, okay, I'm an individual person, but there's these like collective things, systemic things that are going on. It's just like, it's not about me, but also I should also be thinking about how I act and my own behavior and how I just perceive women and like what that means. And like, this is all just my long-winded way of saying, like, I feel like a part of what needs to change is these men that I'm talking about, like that shit needs to stop. And it needs to like stop being this thing where, oh, I'm performing, like I'm a goody two shoes, like I'm an activist. Like, no, like if you actually understand and like put in, I don't know how to describe it, but to like put in the self-education and work to see actually how the shit that hurts women also hurts you. Like until you can actually make that connection, that's all it's going to be is performative and like moralistic and, hey, never hit a woman. Or we got to protect our women. Like these dumbass like framings they're all like dehumanizing. They don't actually acknowledge women as like, they're not speaking to a world or a society where women actually like self-determine, where they have autonomy, where they actually make decisions just like you do, like, or you think you do. You think you do as a poor working class man. You think you can do that. That's like the psychological wage of whiteness, but it's like the psychological wage of like gender, like as a man. You think because you're a man and you have this, like we say, like a mini kingdom in your nuclear household and you can be a boss, like over your woman or whatever, it gives you the illusion that you're like the capitalist and like the king and like the boss, and you're fucking not. And it sucks. And guess what? There's a whole other system that we can like do shit in where everybody fucking feels good. You feel good, women feel good, people that don't identify with any of these genders feel good. Like everybody can feel good, but it's like it starts with you just like letting the fuck go of this thing, and it's like comfortable too. It's just like with what I'd imagine with white people. It's just like, well, I just don't want to deal with that. You know, it's just like another thing I got to think about or worry about. And yeah, just to finish my ramble though, I feel like it is that thing though of like, no, like you're not this goody two shoes. You're not this whatever. It's not this performative thing. There actually is some shit in here for you. It's not just for women. There's some shit in here for you. And the second you get that, that's when we start having real conversations about what the fuck is going on. Because you can, it's like, no, it's also like, was Bell Hook's whole fucking point. It's like, no, this you too. You too. You hurt too. You have feelings around your identity as a man. And I posted this TikTok in my story. I'm going to shut up after this. I posted this TikTok in my story, but I took it down because it was like really dark. But it was dark humor. But it was this person who sent a voice message to his friend in Instagram DMs. And because his friend sent him an Elliot Rodgers. And for people who don't know, Elliot Rodgers was this like 20, he was this very young kid who I believe he was autistic, or he was neurodivergent, and he just felt he was mad that he was a virgin and like women didn't like him, and he went and he killed 7 people in California somewhere.
My mind went to Elliott Smith as you were saying that, just by the way.
And he sends this picture, and the friend records these messages, and he's like crying, laughing, and he's laughing because he's like, first of all, it's not funny because of what happened, but he's like, it also is like cosmically hilarious in a way, because he's like, this dude is a beautiful looking dude. If he had just shut up for 1 week, and then he commences to just laugh hysterically after he says this, and he's just like, he couldn't shut up for 1 week,
right?
And then he got mad and he murdered people, right. And he's like, this is like the dumbest motherfucker alive, and then he's like, well, not anymore.
Yeah.
Wow.
But like that's a prime, that's like an extreme Looney Tune but real life example of like the extremes of this shit. You killed people, and then you killed yourself because of a value system. You felt entitled to this thing, and you're fucking young. Yeah. Young people aren't getting it like that, especially now. That's just how shit is right now. But it's like, if you could have just like unpacked that somehow.
The irony of like those guys, like that one on that video who's like, men used to go to war, and what happened to men and stuff. And it's like literally not like masculine, feminine, but in the immature child-like infantilization aspect of patriarchy, that what it's done, like that value system has done that to this generation of men, because the kind of like zone of privilege they stand in, they don't like, there's so many men that don't know how to do basic household things. I was one of them. Like it's crazy. I don't know how it happens, but it's
gender norms.
It's like literally you don't, and especially white men, they just like are disgusted. Like you've seen white frat bros, like wow, they live with like Taco Bell wrappers everywhere and cans with like cigarettes in them everywhere. I mean, it's crazy. And it's like, dude, what happened to men is the patriarchy shit. Like that's what got them into being like little boys who like literally are. I mean,
that's the whole thing. Yeah.
I think a lot of men go through this and will continue to go through this, but like once you realize that you don't even have a scope of how bad it is because you're not on the barrel end of things, and like you go through like reading DM messages, Tinder replies, all those things, like you see those, you're just like, oh, I wouldn't ever fathom someone would treat someone like this. And it's frightening because it is so like, even the baseline is not great. Even the baseline sucks. It's really heavily entrenched. So I get also feeling like hopeless a little
That's
bit.
what I was saying.
Well, it's all like passive shit. It's not, there's nothing active going on. It's all just like, well, don't hit him.
Yeah.
I know, you could.
Can I be real? Can I be real?
Be real.
I feel like we we can see the end of all other systems of domination before we see the end of patriarchy. I think patriarchy will be, if that could ever go, that would be the last fucking thing to go. Yeah. That's how fucked I think it actually is. Yeah. And like,
that's real.
You know, Kurdish revolutionaries, like, they'll say, you know, like, this patriarchy has been here for 5,000 years. It's not going to fucking go away overnight.
Right.
Like, it's just not going to happen. Yeah. But like, that shit is so deep. It's like, and it's just so violent.
Yeah.
No, it's scary.
Like towards everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because someone made a meme of me saying about me saying violence in the Discord, and I'm like, damn, I can't say violent anymore. Nah.
Someone made a meme of you?
Yeah, you didn't see that? Yeah. No, it's like 5 minutes. It says like 5 minutes into the conversation, and it's like a picture of me with like the beam in the eyes. Violence at the bottom. But yeah, patriarchy is fucking violent as fuck to everybody, to men especially. You know, it's your fucking cannon fodder. You're fucking, you gotta go. You see this fucking Wagner group shit in Russia where they're they're just, a video went viral. It's like, I don't know enough about this, but I'm gonna try and give an overview. It's the owner of this private, I guess they must be like a security or
it's like a militia of some
kind. Yeah. I don't know about his business dealings enough to elaborate on that, but he's giving a speech to fucking prisoners, like, or ex-prison inmates or whatever the fuck, and he's basically saying, yeah, you know, we're taking some L's right now, and we're taking some hits, and so we need more. It's like, we need more bodies. Wow. And he's like, and he's literally just like, he's like, gotta be, can't be older than 50. Literally talking, and the men are just like, they're like standing there like they're proud, like they're like to be meat, to be talked to like meat,
right?
And there's a point in I read the translation where he says something so not insane, but he says it so nonchalantly, like, yeah, we just had a battle at whatever, and the translation might have been off. I don't know, but I didn't do my due diligence. But the translation I saw was like, he said something like, like 40 people like ran in and just, you know, stabbed him up, you know, just like stabbed him up. Like, he's just like casually like explaining this violent event, like saying, this is what you got to do. You got to just be able to run in there and just stab him up.
Right.
Wow. And this is like a billionaire. This is It's like if Bezos had an army here, and he's just like talking like, yeah, we need to secure this area because I have business interests in this area.
Yeah, you just run into their warehouse and just stab them up.
Yeah. Hit them really hard.
Hit them really hard.
No, but like real life. Yeah. In Russia, like this is real life.
They're already that's so dystopian.
Yeah. And I apologize in advance if anyone knows what I'm referring to and has proper translation or clarity or wants to add that so people know how fucked it is. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, this is kind of
that's nuts.
Yeah,
going back to
that's patriarchy. Like that's like a part of it.
Yeah,
like, that's what you want.
Yeah,
as a man, that's what you want. Like, this is what you want. A system that's like, no, this is who you are. This is like how you prove yourself.
Yeah.
This is how you this whole
be a man. Yeah.
Like, don't dodge the draft.
Yeah.
You hippie.
Rob Schneider, let go, man. Let go. You don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Like, have you seen the Glenn Beck? You've seen that clip? He's literally just like, it's this gotta save our country.
It was on TikTok.